We feel like we have to be stoic in our society, keep a stiff upper lip, like keep it inside. And I write to that in my book about how, grief, because first off, grief is messy. It's hard work. Grieving is a verb because it's active. It's an active experience, and it's exhausting. It affects you psychologically, physiologically, in every way. And so what people need to understand, and that can be very helpful to someone who is grieving, is that grief is a trauma. And when we go through a big trauma, our bodies are wired to respond in a certain way because the world feels scary and out of control. And so you kind of shut down. Literally what happens is when our bodies sense that, I don't want to get into a neuroscience lecture here, but when our bodies sense danger, it's how we perceive it. It doesn't have to be a dangerous situation, but when our bodies perceive danger, the thinking part of our brain, the prefrontal cortex, goes offline. So we're just coming in our reptilian brain, the freeze, flight, fight response, that instinctual survival, that kind of takes over. So what happens is we're not really thinking. That's why we can't think clearly. That's why we feel like we're in a fog. Often we feel very numb and shocked. And numbing and shocking are gifts in the beginning because it's overwhelming. And so I think something that for people who want to help is to know that when somebody seems maybe dazed and confused, yes, but it's you can't even hold a thought. I mean, there were so many times in the beginning and for a long time that I would walk into a room with every intention of doing something, and I'd stop and say, what was I going to do? And I thought something was wrong with me. I didn't understand then how the brain, the body, your body's grieve too. And I didn't understand it at the time. So I think it's helpful for everybody to know. That's why we have all these reactions, and why people who are newly grieving any huge event will seem like well, I don't remember that. You told me that? How did that happen? It might seem like they're not paying attention, but it's just their brain isn't working right. They're just trying to survive on this, and at the same time, they could be very hyper vigilant, hyper aroused, very, very frantic and anxious and wailing, and as we know. Or you can also, you've heard of people fainting or shutting down, and that's the other. You can either be hyper or hypo, but you're in one way or the other. Your body's responding that way. And so the first thing I always say is to let people help you, because you're not in your own, you're not able to think logically and rationally often in the beginning. I mean, you have